Welcome to Unit 3, folks. In the heat of the spring going into summer, I hope you're all doing well this unit. We're going to focus on texture. The objectives for texture are clearly outlined in your textbook. So if you read upon visual texture, virtual texture within your textbook, you'll get an idea of sort of the interesting things that we can create digitally that can kind of mimic, as you see here, a stippling effect that one might do manually. So I find these different things very interesting, comparing digital versus manual, and to recreate sort of the manual feel of your designs in a digital environment is really powerful. So that's the kind of transition I'm hoping to see in some of your work for this unit. So we're going to do some exercises just to practice that. Let me see. An overview of this particular unit shows that you will read your textbook, Virtual Texture, in Graphic Design, The New Basics. Next, under Resources, we're going to check out those resources. I always like to give you those stock photography sites in the units that we might use them. I know we use some up here. I'll just maybe leave them up here so I don't copy them down for every week unless we absolutely need them. But they are here for this particular week. Adobe stock photos. Some of these are more paid than others. I like to keep free stock photos as part of what you will do. I'm going to add pixels in there as well. That's one of my favorites. But these are particularly Creative Commons. So some of these are just easy and free, and you don't have to worry about them. So go ahead and check out those resources if you'd like. And then you want to be able to post in the visual texture forum with your exercise and show people where you're at for this week. And then you can respond to people as needed. Make sure you post maybe by Wednesday in the forum so that people have a chance to look at your work and respond with thoughtful feedback. The assignment's due by Sunday midnight. Get a hold of me if you'll have a problem completing that. Next, here's the actual assignment for the virtual texture. You can use your camera, smartphone, stock photography, or any means of obtaining a free and open photograph. It must be original. I don't want you to steal a web grab online. We want to avoid that at all costs. If you find a web grab that meets what you need more than anything, you can always retrace it, redraw something in Illustrator by bringing it in, placing it into Illustrator on a layer, locking it, and redrawing it on a layer above. So that may be a little more technical than some of you are ready for at this stage, which is fine. That's why I don't expect it. But I do allow for that. Use your technology of choice, and then choose an object or form that you find in nature that interests you. It can be architecture, foliage, flourishes, part of earth or something in your environment. Take a photo of the detail, and then you're going to remain conscious of those details. And then you want to make sure that you take a photo and then write a 50-word descriptive excerpt on what you've captured. That's just no more than like this much of a paragraph. That's probably over 50 words. So I don't expect a lot of writing for this one, but I want supporting commentary. Describe the physical characteristics and any meaningful reason you chose this as your subject matter. And then using that software that you're familiar with, I want you to digitally translate your image using any technique of texture. Now, some of the examples that I provide, I think I may even have another example which may be kind of confusing. You see these examples and think they might have to look like this, but these are ways in which you can translate your photo. Using X's, using paint stippling, using lines to create the values similar to what we did with the point, line, and plane exercise. But I really want you to have the freedom in just creating those values in the texture of your photograph however you'd like. Think about it as if any of you have had the typography class, I know several of you have, and you created your typographic portrait. Think of it that way. You can also use type for this. So if you'd like to do a typographic portrait, I believe I might have some examples of what that might even look like. I will post them up there. But use these techniques or effects to create a texture illustrating the photo that you've created, the detail photo that you've created. It might be a flower petal, and then what you would do with the flower petal is use the lines to create that within your technology program of choice. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Again, you can use typography to define the shapes, and the typography that you use could come from your narrative that you've written, that 50-word descriptive excerpt. It could come from that if you'd like. Some of you have already done that in your typography class, and maybe you just take a look and take a picture and do the same technique that you did for your typographic portrait to maybe hone your skills a bit. I've given some examples of the approaches. I will also post an example of someone who'd used typographic texture. You might appreciate that. And then here's the grading rubric below. There's 50 points to this visual texture assignment. It is visual virtual texture, digital texture. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm here to support you, and I hope you guys all have a great week. Post within the forum here, and then submit here when you're completed. I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy.